Namaskar everyone. Welcome to the first of our video series and journey to 30. It's a big year for Paramnam. 30 years of Shri Ravi Bharati and Hanuman Jayanti at the ashram. And with me here today is three of the foundation members or foundation children from Guruji's return. And Darshanee is on my left, and on my right is Sanjay and Kavita. So they will be sharing some very fun recollections about when they started. So guys, you all ready?
We hope so.
So who's gonna go first and kickstart?
I think Kavi should go first because she was the first one to get initiated, so she should go first.
Okay, we would have met Guruji around 1994, so when he came back from India, and he did a yagna at my grandmother's home. And I remembered that yagna was such a nice yagna where he made all of us wear red and sang the Hanuman Chalisa. He made everybody stand up, and it was so amazing. And from then, we joined him at one of the mandirs to do one of the Hanuman Chalisa chanting. And from there, we started with Guruji.
What I remembered about that yagya was he made the crowd split in two, and he had one side of the crowd chanting one part of the song, and then the other side, and he engaged the crowd, and it was the first time I experienced something like that. First time that I was involved in a yoga. I was probably about 7 at the time, and that is something that stuck with me, remembering those things that how he engaged, and the people were comfortable enough to sing as well in that function.
So I'm Kavita and Sanjay's cousin. So I was also at the yagna that they're speaking about. I remember the togetherness that we all had, and we look forward to seeing each other every night and being together. And I remember Guruji. He was, although that was my initial meeting with him, but it seemed as though there was that family aspect. And from then to now, we still have that togetherness, with my cousins and even the members from the ashram. But going back to that, that initial meeting, it did not seem, intimidating. It just flowed, and that can show today. It reflects on the relationship we have with Guruji today, at present.
So guys, you just spoken about meeting Guruji and some of your memories, right? But apart from Hanuman Jayanti, what are some of the fun things that you all remember growing up with him? Kavita, you were the first Shishya, his first official. You got Diksha with him, the first Diksha he ever did. And then you started your learning process. There were camps and everything. So let's hear a bit about that. I came in somewhere, I was probably younger than you all, and I came in when you all were already seasoned. So I was new to it. And it was amazing just growing up, looking at you all be there, and I wanted to be that, like with the cool kids. So tell me a little bit about the experience, and I remember you all laughing a lot back then, and you all still do. So share some of those laughs with us.
There are so many memories with Guruji and Hanuman Jayanti that I didn't even know where to start from. But as Auntie Rads reminded me, people going out together with Guruji, people actually thought Guruji was my father. Remember going at the double shed, and he always tell them, this is my daughter, these two are my daughter, me and Vades, and the other two were Auntie Rad's daughter, and the other two was Guruji and Auntie Rad's daughter. So I remember going one day with my dad, and the people them was confused. It's like, you come with your uncle. So daddy like confused to what they're talking about. So, everybody used to think Guruji was my actual father.
Yeah, the closeness, even up to
Yes.
this day, he maintains that. Yeah.
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 I remember, even before we got Christian and stuff, well, Guruji said, I remember mentioning that to him, and he said, it's not Christians, it's initiated. But even before that, we expressed interest, and he mentioned that he have to speak to his gurus and get that permission or that okay that he is ready to become a guru himself, and that was something different to me. He usually, if it is reach out to a leader and ask, it's just yes, there we go and do the prayers. But that was different. Difference about him is that he made sure that he was ready himself, and he didn't do it just so we had to get to know him. That period of time where we had to go, and I remember going and spending nights by Auntie Rad's and Guruji, and sitting and drinking. I remember drinking rainwater. Oh my goodness, that didn't go down good with me at all. And it was something different, and I remember spending the night and having to, and Auntie Rad's was one who was strict about schoolwork. So when myself and Arvin especially, we had to go sometimes, like, oh God, we had to go and study and making sure those little things you would see now that children from the ashram has grown into become engineers. The majority of them had grown into engineers, doctors, and the academic field is something that they exemplify that teaching that Guruji and Auntie Rads had instilled in them, and that was something amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Like Kavita said, there's so many memories with Guruji over the past few years, or umpteen amount of years. One of my, I think for the ashram, I really enjoyed going to Gita classes. It was, I remember we started home at Auntie Rad's and Guruji's home. And it was just, about maybe 15 of us, I would say, 10, 15 of us initially. And, and then eventually Guruji started having classes at our temple in Ramsing Trace, the Sarski Vidyalaya. And, we look forward to classes with him. There were times when we got in trouble. As Guruji would say, Dumbo Darbo. Chapter 15, I would never forget that. And we got put out of class because we were laughing so much. But, those memories, now we look back and we laugh, and Guruji was very strict with us. But, there were moments where even, having that, that openness, like anything we wanted to, if we were going through anything or whatever, we just needed an air. We felt that comfort to approach Guruji, and even Auntie Rad's as well. But Guruji he's always been there for us, not just for Gita class and for satsang, but outside of that, we had somebody that we know we can approach and we could feel comfortable and we could have a very, very open discussion. And these are the things that I truly value. Being in Guruji's.
No, he keep on going every single line by line, word by word, just to make sure he got it.
And he used to do that with all his students.
Yeah.
That's one thing. With all his students, I remember, eventually, I feel like Gita classes, we used to look forward to that so much because meeting everybody, and then to line after, so you want to go home.
Yeah.
But this is what helped us in finding a spouse too.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, certain values we would have looked forward when you're looking at an individual.
How she say that, right? We find a spouse, and Lakshmi and I know me. No exchange numbers and things. Right? The first time I called I hear she was like in prayers and things. I said, oh, nice. I started chanting Gita for she.
That is what gets you.
You know, as Kavi was saying that, I remember.
That's what I did.
I remember like.
And you know, one of the things that looking back, what I remembered is for Hanuman Jayanti, you know, this was about 4 o'clock in the morning because we used to start early to reach the 108 chanting of the Hanuman Chalisa. Before we actually start, you know, we used to come together as a group and we used to go around the village with flambeaux and chant that Hanuman Chalisa. And that vibration, to me, that was something different. You know, it might seem normal now that you're doing it, but it's something that Guruji has started. And to me, that was to wake up the village, to let the village know that Hanumanji is here. And you know, sometimes if we were lucky, we used to get Tassa to get involved, and we used to go around holding Hanumanji in our heads, holding him high, and walking through that village and chanting that Hanuman Chalisa. And you know, that was something. As a youth, I think I was probably about 7 or 8 at that time, and you know, that was something that resonated with me, that built that relationship with the divine. And it's something that is part of my upbringing that you can never shake that foundation that Guruji had really instilled in me.
That spiritual connection, you know, that we have growing up, you know, I remember going to stay by Guruji, you know, myself, my sister Varsha, Kavi, a few of us. We would go the night before, stay with Guruji and at Rad's, and then we have to get up early. Like Kavi said, you know, Guruji would fill buckets sometimes for us to shower and stuff, and get ready, and we have to go, we have to be there on time. And you know, now that is such a huge part of our foundation, our spiritual journey. You know, we're celebrating 30 years of the Hanuman Chalisa chanting and Hanuman Jayanti, and this is something that you can't shake from us. It's built in, it's part of us, and no matter where in the world, I think it's safe to say, no matter where in the world, you know, Guruji students are, especially in April, our hearts, our mind, our soul, everything is in Trinidad with the Paramdharma ashram. You know, we look forward to seeing that and being a part of that, although we may not physically be here. But, you know, we're so grateful for that experience, and we look forward to whenever we could be here. But yeah, you know, we're grateful for that.
One of the other, you know, synonymous things in Hanuman Jayanti is that kutia. And I'm sure you all will agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
That kutia, everybody looked forward to it. And in the old ashram, it was totally carrot shed. It was really nicely paved ground, everything. And that's actually where my journey began with Guruji in kutia, well, Antiraj in under 12 class. And that kutia, we'd have Havan every Shivratri, every Hanuman Jayanti. But especially for Hanuman Jayanti, the amount of people that come and enter that kutia and wait to do Havan, it is amazing. Even up to this day, we moved. The ashram is now where it is, and you know, the kutia is a little bit different, but there's something special about that place, and I'm sure you all can agree also.
Yes.
Kavita, you were telling us a story earlier about the kutia. Tell us.
Yes, that kutia, my experience is, you know, sitting down. Guruji used to have one of us in the kutia, you know, to assist devotees when they come. If it's just to chant Om Shri Hanumate Namaha, is to just make sure they actually do what they're supposed to, because some people just be like not knowing what they're supposed to do. So we were just there to give a guide, to add some sticks to the fire, to help them out in whatever way. And I used to just, look me pause reason, I used to just love that kutia and doing that part of it, because I don't know, it's a vibration there. It's to make me feel, I actually asked my daddy and I was like, Dad, I could live in the temple and I would help see about the temple. And from there I would go to work and just to live and be in that space of positivity. That was one of my experiences and I would really love to go back and experience something again. Nothing stopping me, but but and you see that last Chalisa, oh my God. Imagine after a whole day of chanting the Hanuman Chalisa 108 times, and everybody just stand up to sing that last Chalisa. Your paws raising, you're just chanting God's name. Sometimes I used to just have to take a minute and just stop, close my eyes, and tears used to just be running down my eyes because I reached a point where I didn't even know what to do. I remember people used to be dancing. It was just extraordinary.
I remembered one time, I think it's either the first time that we celebrated Hanuman Jayanti in that way in the temple, and the last one, we were chanting and the dolak was playing and thing, and all of a sudden, you started to hear Tassa. And it was Uncle Vishnu coming in with the Tassa group, beating with the same rhythm as the drums, and that energy was so high, It's, as Kavi say, yeah, sometimes when that energy is so high, you just have to stop and let that energy flow through. And I can remember that happening with me at that time. Looking back at those things is really something that as a group at Guruji himself, he's one that never commanded or demanded respect. He commanded that respect, and it was just by him being the way that he is that if work needs to get done, he not telling nobody to do work. He going and doing the work, and because of everyone have that level of respect for him, they will follow him and go and get things done. And he will start it off, and then after leave you seen about this, fine, let's move on to something else. And I've seen that with him. People have come and gone through the temple, and he's still able to command that level of respect, and people will follow him. And his mission is something that will live on because of the children that he have inspired all through the decades of his service to the community and service to God.
I think one of the most dynamic things Sanjay is talking, Hanuman Jayanti, and when we think about Hanuman and what Hanuman represents, Hanuman was his bhakta.
Yeah.
He was a sevak, and he was a nyan, and Guruji. We can look at Guruji and see all of these things in him. Most importantly, Hanumanji was so humble,
Oh.
and Guruji is that embodiment of humility. So he has lived that life. Everything he has taught us, he lives it. We can say that, we can attest to that.
Yes.
And when I think about Hanuman Jayanti, I can't see any difference between Hanumanji and Guruji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lives it.
So many things that I would remember growing up. I remember this was about 20-something years ago. I remember in the ashram reading a pamphlet with and in the back of the pamphlet it had an interview with Guruji, and he mentioned something to the fact that if Sanatan Dharma has to move forward, we have to focus on the kids. And this was about 20-something years ago, and just about that time later, you could see how he lived that life. Himself, together with Auntie Rads, focusing on, you would go to satsangs, and Guruji would conduct the satsang for the older people, and Auntie Rads would focus on the kids having their own function, letting them express themselves. And Guruji has truly been an impact on each and every one of our lives. We have grown out of our shells, and we just want to say, Guruji, we appreciate you. This journey, we look forward to many more to come, and we appreciate every single thing.
Yes, journey to Seti continues. So stay tuned, y'all. We'll have more videos coming up.